What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of Action Sunday. This week, as per request, I was asked to review a movie called Final Round, starring Lorenzo Lamas. And so, thanks to this fan, thank you very much. I was able to find it. It was free on YouTube. So, hooray for free YouTube movies! So, yay! So, for any of you that have never heard of this, well, you'll be glad because this is one of those B-grade action movies that came out in like the 90s. It stars Lorenzo Lamas, but the plot of this is essentially, if anybody's seen or heard of The Running Man, this ain't it. So, as you know, there's some similarities and there's a whole lot of differences between this and The Running Man. Whereas The Running Man was based on a Stephen King novel and set in a dystopian future, this is similar to that, but instead set in present day. They don't give too much backstory, and of course the stalkers or whatnot. They're not stalkers; they're just hunters. It's essentially they have less glitz and glamour, but more, I would say, edgier, darker characters, kind of thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, like to me that was one of the biggest problems with this movie was they don't tell us much when it comes to what the plot or the saying is, but all you have to know is that, okay, you have Lorenzo Lamas, an everyday mechanic who somehow gets drugged, he gets captured, and just put into this deadly game where essentially it's survived this 2-mile zone somewhere in the world without getting killed. And then, of course, there's like these 5 hunters, all with different names, but they're all either former military, special forces, or police. And they all have interesting backstories, which make Lorenzo Lamas' character weak by design. So I'm like, wow, they really built up these villains more than the hero. But to me, that's not a good thing. Like, I really wish they could have dealt more world building, more exposition, and we could understand, okay, where are these characters coming from? And like, what makes this guy so relatable? Well, obviously, one of the big things is that this mechanic is also a martial artist. He does kickboxing as there's a pretty good scene at the beginning of the movie where he's at this gym and of course 2 guys are fighting and then the guy's like, who's next? And he gets in the ring. It's one of those cool things. Kind of breaks the monotony, but at the same time I feel like I've seen it done before, but either better or worse depending on the situation. So yeah, but as for the rest of that cast, they're virtually mostly unknowns. Like Lorenzo Lamas is literally just the Lamas, or way you pronounce his name. He's literally just the glue. He's the headliner of this movie. I wanted to like this movie. It's fine in small doses. I like the grittier, darker, edgier setting. I'm like, and also I like the way how all these different ways these villains the hunters are killed off. I feel like, okay, some of these were definitely borrowed from The Running Man. Some of these were definitely inspired by something or some good foreshadowing that you can see in the movie, where it's like, oh, careful of the electrified fence. Someone's gonna go through that electrified fence, and sure enough, someone does. Or like, oh shit, someone's in the dark kind of thing. They're all creative deaths, and then of course interesting thing is that one of the 2 of the hunters essentially kind of turn on each other, and to me, I felt like, okay, so I will break in the action. So it's like, okay, so here's these 2 bad guys that can't stand each other. So okay, let's see what happens here. Okay. Cool, pretty neat kind of thing. I kind of liked it, but you could clearly tell these fights were going to be predictable or one-sided or just so cheesy in its own way. And for better or for worse, I don't know. It was just not my thing. Like, I've seen better stuff, okay? Seriously, The Running Man is way better than Final Round. And of course, I hate making it sound like a broken record, but it was way better than this. But say what you want about Lorenzo Lamas, but he does a good job. But everything else just doesn't live up to the hype, all right? So with that in mind, I'm going to give Final Fight maybe a 4 out of 10. That's as best I'm going to do. That's as nice and possible as way I'm going to say. I can put it this way, all right? So that does for this week. Let me know what you think. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for some awesome videos, all right?